Mike Greenberg.
Yeah, Greeny.
How are you, bub?
Okay. I am extraordinarily happy today, and I am happy for two reasons.
Two.
One of which might not be as obvious to everyone as the second. So let me give the not so obvious one. I came on this show in August, and I made a wager. I wagered that Davante Adams would be a Jet by Halloween. If I lost, I was going to have to wear a Pat McAfee tank top on television.
Bingo.
Now, you all know who your biggest fan is. I happen to be married to her.
That's very
She
good.
immediately said to me, under no circumstances are you wearing a tank top on television, because she knows what that would look like.
Okay.
So I got very, very nervous. But the good news is that with the trade being made today, rather than a tank top, this is what we are wearing, boys.
There you go, Greeny.
We are back.
Yeah.
The Jets are back.
Yep.
We are absolutely back in business.
Yep.
Just when I thought we were done, we are back in it. The Jets are going to go on. Listen to me right now, McAfee.
Okay.
The Jets are going to win 7 of their next 9 games.
Okay.
Rodgers is going to get hot as hell.
Woo!
This is not going to make Garrett Wilson unhappy. It's going to unlock Garrett Wilson. This offense is suddenly going to look markedly better. That will bring a little fire to the defense. This is exactly what we needed, and we are back. And I got the jersey back to prove it.
Happy for you, Greeny.
Hell yeah, Greeny.
Happy for you, Greeny. We're about 12 hours removed from AFC East loss on primetime.
Yep.
And right now, the vibes around all New York Jets fans are that this is a massive piece being added to this team. You talk about unleashing or unlocking Garrett Wilson. It's like now Garrett Wilson also gets a chance to watch one of the GOATs operate on the day-to-day basis. And Hembo sent me over some stats. I assume you have them as well. It's like in the red zone, what Aaron and Davante have done in the past is like number 1 in the league. Right now, the Jets in the red zone, which is obviously the second most important part of an offense after third downs, they're like middle of the pack, 18th. I think is the lowest that Aaron's ever been. He helps with that. Man-to-man coverage, which you're probably going to see a bit with new Coach Downing's offensive strategy and scheme and everything like that. Him and Aaron, like number 1 in the NFL versus man coverage over the time that they were together. It's like all these stats are indicating that Davante will be a great addition to the team and make an actual impact. In the AFC East right now, the Bills are in the lead, obviously. Big win last night at 4-2. You're sitting at 2-4. It's like, hold the phone. You're still very much in it, Greeny. What would this story be like to tell if the Jets do flip this around and Davante and Aaron come into town and save the city? Legit.
I have no idea what this story would be. It would be the most ridiculous thing that has ever happened. Obviously, we are trying to do the impossible. We're trying to catch lightning in a bottle in the NFL. Again, I thought they had made the nuclear move last week by firing the coach. That didn't work just when I thought it was completely over. Now we're back in business. And I'll tell you something else. And I'm hot. Here's the other thing.
Yeah. Steaming.
Today, I have 2 things. One, who do the Lions want for Hassan Reddick? We'll trade to Hassan Reddick right now. Who can they give us? Who can the Lions trade us for Hassan? You're talking about Max Crosby. That's going to cost you all kinds of number 1 picks. I don't think the Lions are going to do that. Hassan Reddick, you can have for a song. Give me a linebacker. Give me an offensive lineman who can block somebody, and you can have Hassan Reddick in the next 15 minutes. So if that is the solution for the Detroit Lions, I'm all in on that. So that's one thing. The second thing here about this, I just forgot. Oh, you, McAfee.
Yep.
You.
Me.
Today is the first time that being a little older kind of screwed me, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because you sent me a text a little after 9 o'clock this morning, about an hour before this story broke. You're like a little sneaky Patrick Schefter over there. You sent me the 2 little eye emojis. And because I'm of an age where I don't always understand what the language of the day is, I thought you were just telling me you were watching.
Okay.
And that, in retrospect, kind of screwed me. I had a chance to break this wide open. I could have broken this news on my show. I can show everybody the text if you want. Obviously, McAfee and my texts now are for everyone's consumption, which I'm all good with. McAfee sends me a text at whatever time it was, right after you posted that, just with the little eyes, and my thought was, well, I guess McAfee's watching us.
We were.
Yeah, and I just went back about my business.
If it means anything, I was watching it, and, that was kind of a discreet way of, looky. The tweet, though, I will say, once I put out the holy shit with the eyes, man, I started getting internet texts from other countries.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There's people in Cozumel, Mexico right now celebrating their birthday going, what the hell is this all about? And I got people from, the entire football world going, what's this all about? And I would let everybody know, it feels pretty good to be able to just drop one of those.
Yeah.
And just have, that type of thing. Massive news, though, on this particular Tuesday.
You know what's tragic about that in its own way, McAfee? Is that everyone in the world understood what you were saying. And you were trying to give it to me, and I didn't. That is a really, really frustrating realization.
Yeah, but you're a good man, Greeny. You're a good man. You're a good man. You're just having fun. We were watching, too. So you were right, actually. There was multiple things to it. You were certainly right there. Let's talk about Coach Brick. What have you learned about him thus far? What did you see last night? And how do you feel? Is that a big deal for this run, 7 out of the next 9 that you think is going to happen?
I thought that the offense looked much better. I thought that it was obvious. I think the numbers, I don't have them in front of me. I think the Jets had 8 explosive plays in the game last night, which feels like 8 more than they had the entire season combined. It was obvious there was a different rhythm, a different tempo, a different flow, a little more, what looked like a little more creativity. And at the risk of using what has become a bad word around the Jets, a different cadence to the offense. And I don't mean that literally, but sort of figuratively. So I thought that was a positive sign. There were so many good things about last night, except that they lost. And the loss was devastating because, to your point, this feels like, going into last night, it felt like a 2-team race in the division. Coming out of last night, it almost felt like a 1-team race. But this unquestionably brings a shot of a boost of energy, a boost of adrenaline to everyone. It must, and I'm looking forward to hearing what Aaron says about it when he's on with you. If you're going to crash and burn, then you might as well crash and burn bigger than anyone ever has.
Okay, because I saw your tweet where you said this feels like a desperate move from a desperate team, but it's 100% the right thing to do or something along those lines. Desperation, I guess, isn't every team kind of desperate for a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
And wasn't the mindset kind of with Aaron Rodgers? Like, hey, we're going to go try to win a Super Bowl. So the fact that this trade happens after, I thought it was going to potentially come after the Vikings game. Because, he was throwing it to Garrett every single time. It's like, the loss happens. Does this expedite the move? Then he fires Salah. It's like, does this expedite the move? In Woody's mindset, Ambassador.
Sure.
Mr. Ambassador's mindset, is it, we're winning now. Seemingly is the case. So does that mean he's done? Is this the last move? Because if they're going to try to get Hassan out of there, there's probably another. What else are they going to do?
Something else.
Is Ambassador Woody still cooking over there? What do you think's happening? And who's pulling the strings?
Do we have any picks left? I don't even know. What do we have left to trade?
Hassan.
Get that guy
Hassan.
and find out what we have left.
Hassan Reddick, I guess, is the tradable
Mike
piece.
Williams.
Well, yeah.
Throw him in there, too.
Yeah, Hassan and Mike.
You can have Mike Williams and Hassan Reddick. I don't know what in the world we would get. Literally, if you give me a guard who can block somebody and won't jump offside before the ball is snapped, I will take that.
Okay, to that point, Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Greeny. So obviously the Davante Adams trade, a lot of Jets fans are ecstatic about that. But they did kind of, quote unquote, revamp the offensive line in the offseason, but Rodgers has been getting absolutely smacked the last several games. How big of a concern is that still going forward, especially when he's taking these big hits week after week?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say it's like a 17. I mean, the reality is
it's off the scale.
Aaron is everything. I mean, the Jets, and again, I say this, that it was the right thing to do. The Jets have proven over the last 15 years, 14 to be exact, that they didn't know how to do this. They didn't know how to get this over the finish line. They had good players. They needed someone who could get it over the finish line. I don't know if Aaron's going to be able to do it or not, but he's the best shot we've got. They have to keep him healthy. Every time he gets hit, it scares me to death. And I have to assume it does everybody. And he's getting hit all the time. Tyron Smith got beat so many times last night. Everyone is pointing to the holding that he had that wiped out a touchdown. And maybe that was a bad call. I don't know. It looked like a hold to me. But I know Aaron didn't like the call. And if he didn't like it, I didn't like it either. But it just felt to me like he was getting beat left and right. So the answer to your question is it is an enormous concern, because if Aaron gets hurt, then none of the rest of this matters at all.
Once again, I don't want to just keep saying and like this is good news that Davante's coming. There's so many times Green Bay, whatever the play call is, Aaron and Davante just look at each other, and I don't want to say that's going to help protection, but it could. There's sometimes where maybe 3 or 5 step drop's supposed to happen, but instead that thing is just straight out.
Yeah.
See you later.
And he's getting 12, 14.
Right off the jump because Davante's untouchable seemingly whenever he has the ball in his hands. It's like, I genuinely, do all Jets fans feel, what's the pulse you think of Jets fans about Davante?
On the trade?
Yeah.
How could you not love it? I mean, what would there are 2 options. If you're 2-4. The easy part of the schedule is now coming. When every fan of every team sits down at the beginning of the season, you look through the schedule and you say, this is the part we just have to survive. This is the part that we can win. If you look at the next few weeks, I mean, Steelers, it feels like a winnable game. Now, am I hearing Russell Wilson is going to play? I don't know what the hell.
They both could possibly play. Mike Tomlin just said at a press conference that both quarterbacks could potentially start, and they will both get reps.
Wow.
That feels very winnable. Patriots is very winnable. Let's say Texans feels like a very tough game, but who knows? A Thursday night home game, there's an advantage. Cardinals feels winnable. Colts, all due respect, feels winnable. Seahawks, we'll see. Dolphins, Jaguars, Rams. I mean, look at these games they have coming up. So I think you either give up and you say, well, it didn't work, or you continue to go all in. So I don't know what Jet fan wouldn't think this was an outstanding.
That's a Jet fan that's on vacation right now. Yeah. That's too good. Life's too good, maybe, for that particular Jet fan. But I do believe that particular Jet fan has a question about what D-Butt has a question about.
Yeah, Fireman Ed was in mid-season form pre-game, so he that Jets fan.
Well, the ball blew off the tee. He had to do another one.
He was ready. I thought he was.
Yeah, but Joe Buck and Troy were saying, he wants everybody to be quiet. He's losing everybody. And I appreciate Joe and Troy. I think they are phenomenal. Shout out to Joe for the shout out last night, too, about the game day kick. I appreciate it. But the ball blew off the tee. Fireman Ed wasn't expecting that.
No,
that's a whole nother spelling of the team name.
Yeah. Got to be ready.
And he was, though. He bounced his ass back up. I think, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Where are you?
Yeah. Are you with me? What is he? He doesn't do the.
No, he kind of just,
it's just more of a. They know.
One man controlling a whole damn stadium. That's Fireman Ed football.
That's right.
And I thought he did great. Had to adjust a little bit. Had a little adversity. Ball fell off the tee. We got to extend this one more time. We got to make sure the timing's good. It's also the other team. We don't know how long his run-up is. Fireman Ed, he showed up, and he's going to continue. Yeah. And that's what Fireman Ed's pumped about Davante being here. And if Aaron's going to be there, I'll be there. Isn't that what Fireman Ed said last week?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, we should call him at some point.
Yeah.
Go ahead, D-Butch.
Yeah, Greeny, so obviously we expect a little jolt to this offense, but the defensive side of the ball, are you concerned at all with the defensive side of the ball? I know DJ Reed went out as well with the groin injury. Josh Allen had a good night. Ray Davis had a good night. What's your concern level with that other side of the ball for the Jets?
It's much lower than my concern with the offensive line. They're not as good as I hoped they'd be. They're not as good as I sometimes think they are. They need to be better. Like, here's the thing. People will say, well, the Jets have only scored 9, 17, and 20 points in their last 3 games. Well, look, I mean, McAfee, you played, I didn't, but then it's the defense's job to hold the other team to 8, right? And that's just the way this stuff works. And the defense is good. There's no question it is a top, 10, 12 defense in the NFL, but it's not dominant. And going into the season, it felt like it could be dominant. They've had some injuries. I think that this is a defense that could be better than it has been and should play better than it has. They haven't played the greatest offenses. Look, Josh Allen's going to make a lot of people look bad. I think Allen is unbelievable.